twice in 7 days doing like a step test on the bike, and that involves a maximal effort. You start at 150 watts and increase 50 watts every 5 minutes.
Hold it at 550, got another 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, and time.
And I ended up finishing 500 watts. So leading into that, you're doing 5 minutes at 350, 400, 450, and then 500. That takes the edge off. And looking back at my diary, I'd probably just done a little bit too much training for where I was up to. And last Tuesday, came down with a pretty bad cold and spent 3 days in bed, which was a bit frustrating.
I think when John first started rowing out of school was my first year coaching as a employed coach at the club at Merckx. I think he was recruited to the club in that year. He was one of our key athletes we wanted to identify, along with a couple of other guys who've come through and done very well from that Geelong College group. I think Johnny was always demonstrated a fierce determination. You know, that's been really clear, and that's never been a question. He's always trained extremely hard, you know, and the challenge has never been will he do enough. It's always been will he do it well enough, and will he almost allow himself enough time to breathe and think and learn the finesse of what's going on. And I think that's a challenge he's facing now coming back into the sport.
Last time I rode was the last week of January, so it's been a fair while.
Like, I think it was a bit of beginner's luck. My first 3 rows felt really quite good. Like blades off the water, moving pretty well. And then it was a bit of a reality check after that.
Still got it!
After about a month back in the boat, the legs aren't the limiting factor. It's just getting my body conditioned to actually take the load, like in a rowing sense. Like, I'm fit on the bike, fit in the gym, fit in the pool, but rowing fitness not quite there.
He's, you know, maybe not optimally loading through his calves at the moment based on some alignment issues and weaknesses through the glutes. So we're working at trying to get better activation and strength through his glutes, so he's got a more even load through his calves and less through his perineals and the lateral structures of his lower limb.
Based on previous operations, I'm a little bit behind where I have been in the past, but I think that's just a consequence of the severity of the actual surgery that I went through this year. I had hoped to have been able to go to the time trial in December this year and have done a reasonable job, but I'm just not quite up for that at the moment.